Okay guys, welcome back to this series of tutorial for object-oriented programming using Visual Basic. Okay guys, now today what I'm going to do is just to explain the class definition. Okay, now actually I have done one tutorial before this one, so I hope you are also watching that one. But this one I would like to explain how are you going to define your class. Okay, now by the way, in our lecture, we say if you want to create an object, okay, since our programming language is object oriented, so we are dealing more on objects, how it will relate to each other. Okay, now before you can create your own object, you need to define a class. Okay, so how are you going to add a class? Okay, I just want to show you. So you go to your solution explorer, then right click, then you can add, then select this class. Okay, so when you click this one, then by default Visual Basic will give you or offer a class name, which is class 1 by default. Now in this case, in this application, it is related to computer time monitoring. So the class that I created here was the computer. Okay, so I created the class computer. So if you want to create a class, you just type it here. Then let's say you will say computer. Okay, so this is the class definition or class creation or adding of a class in an application. So the name is computer. Okay, because the application is all about computer time monitoring in an internet cafe. Okay, so the first class that I defined here is computer. Okay, so no need to create because I already created it. Okay, so this is the computer class that I have created. Okay, by double clicking it, then it will be open here. Okay, now first thing that we need to understand is how are you going to define a class. So what are the elements inside the class definition? First, the format is public class. Now, again, this is a identifier or scope identifier. Now it is public because you want to expose it to the programmer, which they are going to use your class definition. Okay, so public class computer, but of course the partner of public class computer is the end class. Okay, so by default, if you create a class, it will be empty. Okay, so let me create another one here. Okay, so that I will show you add. Okay, so let's create another class. Okay, now here let's say user. I will create a class user. Okay, add. Okay, so by default, this will be the class definition. So I'm defining a user class. Okay, so by default it will be empty. So let me go back to my computer class definition. Okay, so the first part of my class definition will be the data members. Okay, so what are these data members? So these data members are just variables. Okay, so these are just variables that you will associate with the object that will be instantiated within this class. I mean, with this class. Okay, so I will create an object. These variables will be part of that object. Okay, now again we have here a modifier, okay, or scope. Here all my variables or all my data members are declared as public. So when you say public, it will be exposed, okay, in the outside world domain. Okay, now if you want, you can say private. Okay, comp private comp computer, let's say cost. Okay, as let's say single. Okay, so meaning I'm creating here a variable which the scope is private. So this one will not be visible when you try to access the attributes of the object created. Okay, so I will show you later. Okay, so I'm just giving you an idea that you can expose the variable or hide it. Okay, so this is part of abstraction concept of OOP. Okay, now guys, actually, I have a degree in mechanical and computer science, but as to tell you honestly, I'm not expert when it comes to computer programming. I just want to share something to my subscriber if they want to start with computer programming. Okay, but there are so many available tutorials in the internet. Okay, so you can check also. Now, so public and private. Okay, so that will be our data members. Data members, in the eyes of the programmers, these are only variables or variable declaration. If you will remember in our programming logic and design, we are having variable declaration, variable scope, variable name or keyword, variable name, and the data type. Okay, so this one is integer, single, and so on. Okay. Now, the next part of our public computer definition or class computer definition is the constructor. Okay. Now, constructor, this is like you are initializing the object. So public, sub, new, and sub. Okay. So again, in class definition, you need to initialize the object. Okay. So by declaring a public sub new, okay, sub new, okay, then you can leave it empty. Now, again, you can initialize an object with different numbers of arguments, like this one. I'm initializing the object with 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Four initial arguments that I want to use in my object initialization. So what is that? And comes that comp num. By the way, comp num is just I'm trying to use now the data members that I declared. Okay, so comp num, I'm assigning a value now. And comp num, this is the end comp num. Okay, with the calling or the one using this object will supply. Okay, then comp our in string format. Now I'm just trying to format the string into decimal places. I guess this one. Okay, our in min in. Okay, it will be supplied by the one trying to create the object. Okay, then as you can see, I have public sub new. Then again, I have another public sub new. Now these two sub procedures are using the same procedure name, new. Okay, so this is now supporting the concept of OOP for polymorphism. Now, polymorphism is this is poly, meaning have many forms. So I have one form here, initializing the object without arguments. Then another form here, initializing the object with 4 arguments. So this is the concept of polymorphism. You can create several procedure with the same name with different arguments inside. Okay, so the last, okay, another thing that we are doing in the class definition is the methods. Okay, so the methods definition here. So actually the methods are just the sub procedures or the functions that we are going to declare or define in our object. Okay, meaning when you instantiate an object or instantiate a class, that object will be having this functionality or methods. Okay, so let me just discuss this one methods here. Public sub computer logout, that is computer logout. So I have 2 variables that needs to be supplied here when you call this one. Our in then minute in, okay, then comp num, actually comp num, again, I'm using the data members, comp num equals the n comp num, the variable that will be passed. Then comp hour out, this will be the time when the computer logs out and the minute when it logs out. Okay, so this will be just assigning values to the data members. Okay, then again, as I said, methods are just some procedures and function. Now I have here a function public. Again, when it is public, it is exposed. Okay, so here what I'm doing here is computer usage. I'm just trying to uh, know the current usage of a particular computer. Okay, so let me show you the design form of this one. Okay, so this is our design form. Let's say if I log in this one. Okay, if I log in this one, now station 01 log in. Okay, so hour 00. Okay, then the login time is 22 or 22:03 because this one is PM. Yeah, I have here PM. Okay. Now the amount to be paid is 0 because my program computes the amount to be paid every minute. Okay. So that's how you are going to uh, use these objects. Okay, but let me show you. Okay, let me close this one. So let me show you the program for that one. Okay. So this one. Okay. So okay, where is the program? Here. Okay, public class form one. Okay, now here in my form one, I tried to create or define a variable. Okay, so I define computer one. Okay, computer one as a computer. Now, guys, when you are defining a class, actually you are defining a new data type. Okay, so as you can see here, wait, as you can see here, this is just a variable declaration, keyword name, then comp1 variable name as computer. Now this is the class that we define, computer. So it's just like when you define a class, you are defining a new data type. Okay, so I declared 10 variables here, comp1 and so on. Okay, now again I tried to create some variables here, but let me show you in the how I instantiate the okay. So now this is the part where I instantiating a class. So when you instantiate a class, this is creating the object out of that class. Okay. So the object that I try to create is comp1. Okay. So comp1, which is defined here. Okay. Now I'm saying equals to new. Now I'm calling now or I'm initializing now the variable. But this time I'm using this I'm calling this part, okay, with 4 arguments. Okay, as you can see here. The comp1 equals new computer. Okay, now I'm instantiating now the object or the class by creating the new object comp1. Now I have to supply 4 variables: our now, min now, comp num, comstat. Okay, so my compute comp num equals 1. I said it is 1. Okay, then our now is equals to the hour of my system, whatever is the hour here. Then minute now, whatever is the minute here. Okay, so I'm using it hour now, minute now, comp now, then comstat. I said open time, meaning it is open time. It is not what you call that, prepaid. Okay. So anyway, I'm just trying to put some values in my data members, object data members. Okay. So okay. So here, if you will try, so if you will try to create access the new object comp1, now we will use the dot notation. Okay, guys. So as you can see here, let me show you. Okay, as you can see, I have here the act hour, act minute, comp hands-on amount, comp hour in, comp hour out, comp log in hour, comp log out, comp minute, comp. All this comp, this one is it is the method. These are the variables or the data members are declared in the class. So all those declared as public will appear here. Okay, so let me see. I have here private comp cost. Okay, so let me go back there. Comp cost. Okay, so I don't have here comp cost. Comp cost. So as you can see, I don't have comp cost variable here. So these are the variable ac hour, ac minute, comp hands-on amount, comp. Okay, so you cannot see the comp cost because it is declared private in my uh, this class definition, private. So meaning it will not be exposed in the programmer, okay? Because this supports the abstraction concept. You want to hide some of the details because for you it is not necessary to show it to the programmer, which is going to use your class. Now, actually, if you're the programmer and you're the one defining the class, of course, because there are some programmers, their task or their job is to create or define class. And this class will be included in the class library and it will be used by other programmers, okay? So meaning in the abstraction concept, you don't need to expose everything in your class definition. Only those necessary, okay? So that is abstraction. Then encapsulation is it's like you are protecting, okay? You are protecting your data. That's why maybe you are using it like what you call this. You are declaring it as private because you want to protect your data from outside or from other programmers, which we can manipulate your data. And let's say if you are developing a very meaning it should not be exposed to others, like you are developing something related to bank application. Of course, it is very critical. It should be safe. Your data should be safe, okay, from outside. Okay, now I hope you know what I'm saying here. Okay, so let me go back to the code. Okay, so compound is the new object. Then when you use the dot notation, it will expose the data members and the methods or the functionality that you have defined. Okay, so guys, in this tutorial I tried to explain the concept of class. Okay, how are you going to define or create a class? How are you going to add a class in your application? Then to wrap it up, create the data members. These are the variables for the object, okay, that you are going to create. Then the constructors, you need to initialize the object when you instantiate it, okay. Then some of the methods or the functionality that you are going to define in your object. Now, the good thing in object-oriented is if there's some problem in your code, you will just go to the class definition, okay. So I hope I have given you an idea about class definition, data members, constructors, and methods. Okay, so this is just like one box or object which have its own data members or variables, then some functionalities. Okay, so again, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope I have given you an idea or introduce you the concept of OOP using Visual Basic. Once again, thank you for watching, and if you're new to my channel, please help me promote it by subscribing. You can put your comments And again, I'm not claiming any expertise here. I'm just trying to share what I have learned in uh, some computer programming. Okay. As I said, as a future BMS engineer, you need to learn some computer programming. Okay. So this one will become handy, or you will be able to use it when you are doing your control logic programming. Okay. Having a good knowledge in computer programming will give you an advantage in doing your job as a BMS engineer. Once again, thank you for watching. Before I will end, God bless us all. Let's all be safe and bye.